Hold My Cutter here at Burned by Rocky Patel, and we're with two-time Pirate All-Star closer David Bednar is our guest, and we are enjoying the number 6 with Michael McHenry, who has nicknamed it
The Marte.
The Marte,
It's
of
the
course,
Marte.
after former Pirate Starling Marte. But as we were having our first smoke, our featured smoke, David reminded me that this was voted the best Honduran cigar by Cigar Journal in 2020. And David corrected me. I thought it was given 83. He said, no, 93 points by Cigar Aficionado.
Can't mix that one up.
Yeah. The
It's an A to a B, Brownie.
Corojo wrapper with
Jeez.
Nicaraguan and Honduran binder and filler and a medium body cigar. And it's a beautiful, beautiful cigar here at Burned by Rocky Patel. Leonard Lee, our producer, and all the folks here at Burn, just a couple blocks away from PNC Park on the North Shore. David, your story is remarkable. You are kind of born and raised in the South Hills. Then you end up attending high school at Mars. Your dad, a longtime coach there. You played for the Mars Planets. Then you decide to go to a little school in eastern Pennsylvania, in Easton, PA, Lafayette College. You play for the Leopards.
Oh, yeah.
What are they? The Leopards?
Leopards, roll parts.
Oh.
You go from the Planets to the... By the way, did you get... What's the cheer at Mars? Go Plans, go Planets.
Let's go planets, baby.
That's it.
Fighting planets.
Go fighting planets.
Yeah, go fighting planets. You
Can't just be planets.
Hey,
you can't forget the fighting.
I went up there and worked with their catchers last year. There are some dudes that look like planets. Like, I get it. You know, you look at him and his brother, his dad, big dudes, look like they could tear a phone book in half. They got like 5 or 6 more pitchers just like that.
His younger brother, Will.
Yeah.
Something in the water.
There is something in the water.
Yeah.
They're eating Mars up there. I don't know. It's weird.
So anyway,
God's
35th round. And in the summer of 2016, you're a Lafayette Leopard. But during batting practice, it's day 3 of the Major League Baseball draft, and a scout apparently tells you to pay attention. And so you try to hide your phone behind your glove, so the story goes. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so I was on a temp contract in the Cape, and from a smaller school like Lafayette, that was pretty
deal.
rare. So it was
That's awesome.
even just getting the opportunity to have a temp contract there was awesome. I was pumped up. And so I was, in contact with, barely the Cubs, but like more so the Padres scout I was, talking to a little bit. And so it was the second game of the season, and I've been there for like a week. And basically the only thing I've done was I threw like one pen and we did a bunch of field work to get it ready. I was playing for the Falmouth.
You did the field work, right?
Oh yeah, we all did it. And,
difference in college to pro for sure.
I mean, we we did our whole of our field work in college as well. So summer ball was like all the dudes from like the big time schools were like, "What is this?" And I was like, "What do you mean? This
You
is what we
appreciate
do.
it more, though, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So you're playing for whom?
The Falmouth Commodores,
Okay.
and so I was there for like a week or so, and then first game came, didn't pitch in that one, and then the second game, I was probably going to pitch in that one, but it ended up there was some rain. So anyway, we're in, I forget the place, like Yarmouth Dennis, whatever, the YD Red Sox. And so that was the third day of the draft. And it started like while we're taking our school bus to the field. And so I'm on my phone, just kind of like the third day is like, I think it started like the 25th or so, the 20th or whatever. And so I'm kind of paying attention to whenever the Padres are picking, and as the day's kind of going, like I still haven't heard my name, and the rounds are just going by, and we're starting to do BP, and I'm like, shoot, like I gotta stay by my phone. Like there's no way. So we're in BP, and like I'm still trying to make a good impression. I don't want to just be like a jackass having my phone in my glove, but like
You don't want to be that guy.
yeah. So I was trying my best to be discreet with it, and I was like hanging out in the outfield. Like it was starting to drizzle a little bit, and just like checking my phone nervously. And then they had the draft going, the ticker going on the sound system too. So it's like double. I'm seeing picks go by, like rounds are just going by, like 25th. I'm like, all right. Maybe by the 30th, and 30th comes around, still nothing. And probably like 2 minutes, it was like probably early 30s, the scout texts me. He goes, "Hey, we still good to do it?" He goes, "All right, yeah, keep your phone on you." And so finally, by the 35th round, I got a text said done, and then you hear your name over the loudspeaker, the PA system, and all over social media or whatever, and that was just so cool.
Then what? Like, what happened right after that?
So right after the game ended up getting canceled. We're driving back to.
Would you have pitched?
Yeah, I would have pitched that day. So I didn't even get an opportunity to pitch in the game.
Yes.
But so game got canceled, and so I'm thinking, okay, like, maybe I'll have some time to at least go back home, get some stuff, and then go. And I found out, and my buddy who I went to college with, he was actually doing some scouting in the Cape, and because he was a year older, but that was kind of his first job, and so we ended up going out and celebrating, and then that later on that night, I find out I have a flight at like 10 in the morning. I'm like, oh, maybe I can go back to Pittsburgh and just get my stuff, like see my family and get pumped up. Right to Arizona.
Wow.
Go time.
Oh yeah. Rolling right to Arizona.
Wow.
But yeah, no. So that was just an absolute whirlwind. It's like never would I have expected to getting drafted at that point was like the biggest thing. And I was like, wow, like, so just at that point it was just mind blowing and just super exciting, and just I was just I felt like I was just playing with house money at that point. I was like, I got drafted, like this is awesome, but just thinking like nothing of like the next steps and what it would take to get to the big leagues at that point.
Yeah, but then 3 years later, 2019, end of August, you're playing Double-A for the Amarillo
Sod Poodles. Oh yeah.
A what?
The Amarillo Sod Poodles. It's like a prairie
Sod
dog.
Poodle.
The Sod
Poodle.
Not
Yeah. What does
it's
that
like
hat
the planets.
look like?
You don't get to say fighting planets. You'll just say poodles.
Yeah,
You
so
say
I've had
sod
some
poodles.
interesting
You went from
mascots.
You're a poodle now. You were a planet to a leopard to a poodle.
Yeah.
You're going the wrong direction, sir.
It's Helen Buckos.
Yeah,
all right.
now you're a bucko. That's all that matters.
Yeah, but so
a
that's
poodle.
like August 31st, and I don't know who the coach was there for the Sod Poodles, but he
Phil Bowman.
I can't
Who
get
was it
past
again?
it.
Phil
Sod
Bowman.
Poodle.
Okay.
Bowman was his name.
I think he announced that there's somebody going to the big leagues, and it's like, and you're going too, Bednar?
Yeah, because there's a guy who was on the 40 man, and he was. It was actually, I believe it was Javi Guerra who was.
Okay.
So he made his debut maybe a year or two before as a shortstop, but that year he was a pitcher and he was making his debut. So like, he got the whole team lined up and right before, it's like a typical pre-stretch, pre-throw meeting, and he's like, Javi, you're going to the show, and then like he kind of like an awkward pause, and I was like, Bednar, you're going with them. I was like,
what was your reaction?
I was just like kind of beside myself, honestly. Definitely.
You didn't expect that at all.
No, I mean, like I said, I wasn't like, oh man, definitely by September. It's like, I was throwing the ball well, but like, obviously I was in Double-A. I thought like, maybe I would have to go Triple-A and then to the big leagues. And so that thought wasn't like, I knew it was a possibility because they had a couple guys earlier in the year go from Double-A, but at the time it was kind of just, I don't know. I mean, obviously you hope, but like you never really know. So whenever he said that was just unbelievable. It was like, it's the reason why you do it. And, it's just the next special, special thing on the timeline, and having everybody around and celebrating. It was so cool. Everybody was hugging me, and it was just an awesome. It's just so cool.
Yeah,
and then
not much
calling my
time.
parents. Yeah, and then calling my parents.
Was it parents' first call?
Yeah, parents were the first call.
Hear that, Mom and Dad? You're welcome.
August 31st, you call Mom and Dad.
Yeah, and Casey was the second. She was
Of course.
girlfriend.
Yeah,
Of course.
yeah.
If she was a wife, of course she would have been one. Of
But you
course.
say, I'm
Love
going
you,
to the,
Casey.
hey, I'm going to the big leagues, and can you get out here because the Padres are going to be in San Francisco tomorrow?
Yes, so it was a Saturday I found out, and then it was a Sunday game in San Francisco. So that was the last game of the series, and it was a noon game on that Sunday.
Whew.
So and not a whole lot of flights going out of the Amarillo airport to San Francisco. So the only flight that was going out was Sunday at like 5 a.m. Will be Central Time, and so we get into San Francisco probably around 9 or 10, and then by the time we get to the stadium, it's probably 10:30 ish, 11. So like, and then you're getting in there like, and just dealing with, first off, all the emotion, all the excitement, the just everything, just all your world just kind of spinning, and you get in there and go shake hands with the manager and all that good stuff and say what's up to some of your teammates and just trying to get acclimated. And then it's like, oh shoot, I got kind of get ready to maybe pitch in this game. It's like, oh shoot. So so like go out there, play catch. Like it's just like, whoa, like just looking around, just taking it all in. And then, it's game time, and you're just kind of in San Francisco. I think that was the last year where the bullpens were on the field too.
Oh, yeah.
So just hanging out in the dugout the whole time was just like, whoa, like that.
Even cooler. Yeah.
Wow.
Never forget it. And then, so as the game kind of went on, it was a tight game. So I was like, no way they're going to pitch throw me in there. Like, no way. And and like maybe like in the 5th or 6th or something like that. So I was kind of like getting ready, but like, trying to look cool about it, not like I was like losing my mind.
Yeah.
I was trying to play it cool the best I could. And then the 8th came around. I was like, I'm not pitching. Like, no way. It was like a 2-run game. And then the 9th came around and we ended up scoring like one more run. So it was like a 3-run lead going to the 9th. And so obviously Kirby has it. So, and then they're like, Bednar, you have it if we score one more. So I'm like, oh, what? So
So it goes from 7-4 to 8-4.
Oh, yes. So I go out there and I'm, it's tight, even if it's just one person warming up. So 2 people warming up right on the side, and that's my first big league warm up.
Fans right here,
right there. And and then so it was like 2 quick outs. So I'm probably not going to be in there. Next thing you know, I think it was like Eric Hosmer hits a double. Manny Machado hits a double. Boom, up 4. The next guy gets out. So I'm like, oh, just ramping it up. Boom, right in the game. And then I just remember that jog out to the mound like it was yesterday, just kind of looking around and just obviously getting ready to pitch, but trying to soak in as much of that moment as you possibly can. And I remember my first 2 heaters. I'm not a big spiking heaters guy. I'm, pretty much just fill it up in the zone. I was trying to, first one, spike right in the right.
Did you really?
Right at home
97
plate.
in the dirt.
Oh yeah, right in the dirt. Next one, I'm like, all right, come on, just throw it somewhere just throw a strike. Spiked again.
No way.
He's amped up.
Yeah, I was unbelievable.
So pumped.
And then I ended up getting like 3 flyouts, but it was just
1, 2, 3.
Yeah,
Do you
1,
remember
2,
who
3.
the first batter you faced?
First Belt, maybe?
Brandon Belt?
Was he the
It's a
first?
good first.
Really
Or
good.
he was definitely the second.
So you're in the
Either
middle.
first or second, yeah.
At that time, you're in the middle of their order.
Yeah, it was definitely the first or second. I should know that, but I was just like way too.
Oh, I get it.
Yeah, but no,
absolutely.
so that was just an incredibly special thing. And then, so like I said, my family couldn't make it out to San Francisco in time. They couldn't just get out there in time. So they didn't see the actual debut. But then we went to Arizona, and by the time I got there, they were all there. Some of my college buddies were there. Casey was there. My aunt and uncle and cousins were there as well.
So cool.
And that's really what it's all about. And just, those people that support you throughout your whole life and your whole career, and getting to enjoy it and share that experience with them was just, and that's kind of one of the most rewarding things about playing here is you still continue to get to share those cool moments and cool experiences with them. And, cause I mean, you can't do it. You can't do it by yourself. And that support system means so much. And, so that was just really special, and definitely a moment I'll never forget. And just seeing all of them and just how pumped up they all were, and like I said, just buddies, obviously family making the trip out, but some of my buddies who were working, they all took off, and probably like 7 or 8 of my teammates and some of my coaches growing up, and oh man, like it was just those are just the moments you kind of take a step back and reflect on. And you're like, wow,
good for you.
That's it's just so cool, and just so blessed to just have that opportunity in the first place, and to get to share it with everybody. It just makes it even more special.
So you really don't know what it's like to AAA at all. Like
What's that?
I made the joke. I made my debut whenever I had a rehab assignment. I think 2 years ago.
That's
in
right.
22.
You made your triple A debut on rehab.
Good for you. You weren't missing much.
Because I definitely would have been there in 2020, that COVID year. I kind of missed out on it. We were the alt site in San Diego, so whenever you get sent down, I still got to be in San Diego. So it wasn't like, obviously it sucked, but you still got to be in one spot the whole time.
What was that year like? Because I mean, you're a month into your big league career. You go to spring training. You probably feel sexier in the best shape of your life. Throwing absolute Brunswicks in the zone. Thinking like, I got a chance to make the team out of camp. And then right in the middle of camp, it's like, nah, we're going to shut it down. And then you go to an alt site, which never existed in the history of baseball time.
Crazy.
So what was that like? How did you stay fresh and, stay prepared? I mean, I don't care what anybody says. Live at bats are not the same. Facing your own guys is not the same.
Yeah.
So how did you kind of band together with your dudes, with everything going on around you and focus in on this task that's the hardest thing in the world to do?
Yeah, so obviously that year was just crazy for everybody from so many fronts. But, for me, it was actually pretty cool. So we still flew out to San Diego, or like whoever elected to just go to San Diego. So they put us up in a hotel. And obviously it was a tough decision at the time because, it was either go home and spend time with your family or just, I viewed it as I have an opportunity to still work out at Petco with some strict parameters, of course. But there's a group of us that were still working out at Petco, got to be in San Diego. And
tough life.
Yeah, it was really tough. But no, it was a group of three of us, me, Cal Quantrill, and Trey Wingunner, who was with the Tigers last year. But so we were just kind of we ate pretty much everything together. A lot of takeout, a lot of walks by the water, and then just a lot of hanging out. And then that's kind of whenever I got to spend a lot of time kind of watching. Goes back to hanging out with Craig Stammen and all those guys, and there was only probably a group of 10 or 12 of us that were still there. And so it was like kind of individual groups, and then like the bullpen settings were really cool too. So like it was probably just 5 or 6 of us, and we'd all watch each other throw and have some feedback. And that year I didn't have my best stuff by any means, but like I think the more of the mental approach of anything, it's kind of what I took most from that year. And then obviously you go from all of that, and so we kind of made the most out of it because I've heard
that a time or two. And everybody that said I made the most out of it, their career elevated in a way. Mm-hmm. Whether it's a coach or a front office person, but especially the players. Like some guys looked at it as like, oh, I don't want to do this. I'm going to go home. Other guys are like, no, I want to do this. It's a chance to grow, see what happens. And I love that you said that because every opportunity, good or bad, you can use it for a positive if you look at it that way.
Oh, absolutely. Awesome. Yeah, I mean, it was definitely hard, being away from Casey and my family and everybody like that. But obviously, Casey still made some trips out. But like that was tough because like guys were still going home, like other guys were at home. But like to get what I felt was the best thing for my career, not just then, but I was still trying to make the team at that point. So it's like I'm going to stay here and do whatever it takes. And in the long run, I think that benefited me a lot because we were doing live ABs like every third day with like we faced like it was Manny, Tommy Pham, like Hosmer, Cronenworth, Profar.
Those dudes were taking it serious too.
Oh yeah,
especially Pham.
Oh.
He doesn't
not
like
playing.
To lose at anything.
No, he's not
anything.
Playing. And so like I got more from just like kind of feedback and watching their takes and then talking to them after. Just about my stuff and how it was playing and what their mindset was, and then kind of going back and talking to some of the other pitchers that were there too, and just kind of picking their brain. And like even though it wasn't, I didn't have a great year that year, I think that really helped set me up for, the rest of my career really, and that really was a big foundation for me.
The trade to the Pirates. Where were you exactly the moment?
3 years
totally
ago.
Unexpected?
3 years ago, as of yesterday, actually. I'm okay.
Wow. So it was totally unexpected, or did you hear rumblings?
I So I didn't make I made the opening day roster that year in 2020, but I did not, and was only up for a short period of time. And then I did not make the playoff roster, the playoff bubble, which was like basically the whole 40 man went, and I was on the 40 man and did not go. So I was like, damn. And so
was that like a kick in the face to you?
I mean, I wasn't throwing well, so like I definitely saw it. I mean, I was definitely bummed, but like I wasn't.
Not like you felt like you really truly deserved it. You mean?
Yeah, no. Like I obviously I was like I was starting to feel a little bit better and get back to my stuff, but I wasn't myself, and I wasn't.
His perspective's so good. I love it. Yeah.
It definitely stung. Like I was that really hurt. I was like, damn. But no, I definitely saw it made sense. I wasn't very good at all.
Right.
I think I had like a 7 that year in like 6 innings. I gave way too much.
Yeah, 6 innings. Yeah. Really small sample size.
Yeah, no. So I didn't get the invite to that. So I was like, okay. Like, and then they made that trade for Darvish with the Cubs. And I was like, the tweet broke, and it was like, oh yeah, there's like seven players, and I'm like, might be a throw in this one. Like, why not? And then it didn't end up happening. But that's kind of where my head was, because if I wasn't going to be on the playoff bubble, then probably, right, wrong, if that was actually the truth or not, whatever. But I was like, all right, they probably don't, they're whatever. So, and then the Pirates one, I actually found out on Twitter.
Did you really?
Yeah, the news broke, and it was like Musgrove to the Padres, and there's like 4 players to be named later. And I didn't see it until my name broke on Twitter. And then, which is crazy. You hear stories about that. You just never think it's actually going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I see it on Twitter, it breaks, and I'm just this happened probably maybe 1 o'clock on a Monday, and I didn't get a call from either side until maybe like 10 a.m. the next day. Because it broke, but they were waiting on like physicals and all that stuff.
Wow.
And so
it's a long time.
Well, but you're talking to your family at this point.
Oh yeah, no. So we kind of assumed, and then like I got like a call from like a 412 number. I answered in like a half a second. It was like I forget what reporter it was. It was somebody from some reporter. I forget exactly who it was, but I remember seeing a 412 number. I was like, oh, good. It's got to be somebody. And then, but yeah, so I didn't get total confirmation until the next day. But no, that was so cool. Again, like I was with Casey at her apartment and just found out we were just so pumped, and then went over to my parents' house and just kind of partied up a little bit, and then and then finding out the next day officially was like, wow, this is crazy.
This is happening.
It's real. And then it didn't become like really real until you get to Bradenton, and that was like one of those things when I was younger that my dad and I would always be like, oh, let's make a spring training trip, and obviously that's kind of whenever baseball season's ramping up, so we just never were able to find the time or go. But so that was my first time there. It was pretty cool. I was like, oh, this is sweet. Like, and then seeing your jersey in the locker, seeing all the Pirates.
What was that feeling like?
Seeing all the Pirates gear, it's like, wow. Like, you kind of look around, it's like, hey, everybody's wearing Pirates stuff. Like, I like the Pirates. It's like, oh shoot, we play for the Pirates. So, no, that was that part was just really cool. And it's still like a pinch me moment. Like every time seeing my jersey in the locker, and just it's so cool. I mean, I feel like kind of running out of words to describe it, because it's just really cool. And I think every day whenever I park in the garage and walk across the field, it's like you just look back and you see the skyline, you see all the seats, and you think back to whenever you were coming to games and where we sat, and just the whole full circle thing is just so cool, and something that is just I'll never take for granted. It's a pinch me moment every single day.
It's like Rock. He needs to talk to Rock about that.
That's true.
Like hearing those two stories just gives me chills.
You just can't tell him I'm a Pittsburgh guy. He's pretty adamant on the Pittsburgh city limits.
Oh yeah.
which is fair. It's a fair argument.
Well, we could fight to the death. It's okay.
He gets Walker on. He gets anybody.
Oh yeah. I mean,
he's hard on that. You're not the city.
Yeah.
Rock.
That's fair.
Hey,
Butler County.
He rips South Hills,
suburbs
North
count.
Hills.
Suburbs count.
Yeah.
Listen, new age, Rock.
But what a story. everything about it. A 35th round, and then going to the Padres, and then being traded, and now the closer. And as you said, you go to the down. You had not been to Pirate City before, you and your dad.
No. It's always something like we kind of like very loosely talked about, but just like it's like we'll do it eventually. And then, yeah.
Now we get a chance to see your mom and dad a lot, like on the road. Talk about pinch me moment. It must be every day, pinch me moment, because they're proud of all the kids, of course.
Yeah, of course.
They're very proud, but it is so neat for them to go to watch you in the big leagues, and then they'll travel and see Will. I know they see your sister a lot.
Oh, yeah.
She's a great athlete, but they're just living they're living out a dream right now.
Oh, absolutely. That's been one of the cooler parts. Is obviously they've supported me to all ends throughout my whole life and career, and they've traveled to every minor league city I've played in, and my brother and sister have been tagging along for years to every summer ball tournament, to minor league cities, to big league cities, and it's cool to watch my brother now do it and have the opportunity he has. But so like my parents went from having to hop on 2 flights, connections, to just driving 35 minutes down to
crazy
down to PNC, and it's just so cool. And it's like I said, it just goes back to it's just sharing it with all the people that help and support you is the best part.
I mean, you look at a kid so well grounded. It's who brought him up. And Andy and Sue Bednar, just so
great people,
so down to earth, such great people. And we haven't had a chance to meet Will. I'm sure we will.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure you guys talk about what it might be like the day in the big leagues you're pitching against him, right?
I mean,
absolutely.
I'm just saying, how good would they look together in black and gold?
That's what I'm saying. Oh,
I mean,
wow.
I'm just saying, Bednar starts it, Bednar finishes it. You can't write a better story.
That'd be sweet.
No, absolutely.
You guys must have talked about playing against or together, right?
I'm starting the pitch now.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Come on, Ben.
Come on, Ben. Let's go. Let's go. Go ahead.
And I remember when I think it was 21, I was joking to Ben that I think for the 1-1 pick, I think my brother will still be on the board. So if you guys want to, he ended up going to the Giants. I think it was 16th, but
that's great.
It was all fun. But no, it's been cool to watch his journey and watch him, go from just high school and then going to Mississippi State, dominating in the College World Series, and seeing him, and then now on the pro ball and all that kind of stuff. It's cool, and I'm definitely looking forward to the day where we get to suit up together.
When you watched the Palacios brothers last year,
that's so cool.
Was that something that you thought about, like watching the brothers on the field of man someday?
Yeah. I mean, talk about just awesome people all around.
Yeah.
The whole family just.
Pirates, Josh, of course, Richie for now Tampa Bay.
Yeah, getting to know Josh and just knowing how and his brother the same, and his parents, and just an awesome family, and just seeing how excited he was. I can only imagine. It's unbelievable. That's the stuff that you just dream of. You can't really put into words how cool that would be.
You seem to be a kind of guy that would sit around a locker. To me, and like just sit there and kind of chuckle at guys and their personalities. And he's a guy that just makes me laugh. Joshua Palacios.
He's awesome. He's got the ice in his veins too. Just like any clutch situation, he's got it.
He's a glue guy.
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
What I define those guys as. He seems like a glue guy.
And then it's like he's the guy. It's like in those big spots. It's like no matter what happens, that's the guy you want up there. And I think as a teammate, I think it's having that confidence in all your guys, and he's just unbelievable. He's got that ice in his veins a little bit. Yeah. So it's
icy light.
Icy light
in his veins.
Oh, yes,
like
sir.
Bednar does. See that right there?
Speaking of which, the All-Star game, when you were named the first time, what was that like?
So cool. It was just one of those I didn't really expect it.
You didn't.
And
another thing, it's incredible. All this stuff.
Well, the humility he has is
incredible.
incredible.
I think it's just one of those things where you just kind of put your head down and just kind of grind, and whenever those things kind of happen, it's like you kind of take a step back and you really kind of appreciate it even more. It's kind of the same thing as just putting your head down, and the next thing you know, like the draft day stuff, and then debut, and then now like all the every year is just a little bit different, and it's been so cool and just so rewarding.
Where were the Pirates, and
We
how
were
did
in-
Shelton tell you?
We were in Milwaukee, and I found out after that he made sure to bring some icy light on the on the plane, and he called a meeting, and I wasn't even thinking anything of it, and he comes out carrying a thing of icy light. I'm like, that's kind of weird. What's he doing?
Pre-game warm-up? What's happening?
Yeah, I'm like, hell yeah, let's go. And then no, and then he announced that I made the All-Star team, and it was so cool, and like it's the same thing, just kind of cool to see how excited my teammates were for me, and kind of share that with them, and just awesome.
And Edwin Diaz, he'll always hold a special place in your heart, won't he?
Yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah, that was really cool. For him to having pitched in the All-Star game before, he knew how special that was, and for him to kind of pound the table for me to be able to pitch, and it's something that's just kind of one of those things that's kind of part of the game, and it's like the bigger picture of it, and that's something I'll never forget.
And then you go again the next year.
Now he's a vet.
Now you're a vet, yeah.
And he's got a rookie on his side, which I love.
But you sent a gift over to Clayton Kershaw
Yes.
while you're at Dodger Stadium.
Yeah, so we didn't make it initially, and then whenever I found out that was how I ended up getting in, and we were in LA, and our Bones, the clubhouse guy, was he was like, hey, why don't you send some beers over? So he was actually the idea guy. I was like, oh, that's a perfect
That is
idea.
brilliant. Bones.
So it couldn't have worked out any better. So we had some. It was funny to chop it up with him at the All-Star game, and ask him how he liked it.
You pitched in that first All-Star game, and you talk about pinch me moments. Is that another one where you're walking out and you're trying to soak it in?
Oh yeah, it's because the whole thing is just such a big production, and especially that year was in LA, so it was just the whole Hollywood thing, and in Dodger Stadium too, which is an awesome venue, and you just know how big of a stage it is. And you're obviously playing against the other All-Star team, which is the best of the best. So that was an awesome moment for sure.
When you're pitching and you're asked to pitch in an All-Star game, how different is that than a regular game?
I think once it's different in the sense of like everything kind of before, and sometimes you kind of cut out some of the prep work just because you don't really know exactly when you're throwing or everything like that. But it's more of just the adrenaline as soon as the phone rings and then you hit the dirt. It's like, all right, it's just a normal game at that point. It's like I'm trying to get these guys out. That's I think anytime you step on the mound, that's kind of the mindset, and kind of obviously you're able to appreciate it, but also you still have a job to do. Can't embarrass myself in an All-Star game.
Well, by the way, word has it. I'm thinking about you talk about the Pirate jerseys hanging, and you see your number 51. There was word that you really wanted to pay homage to 55, but you thought, let's go 4 down, let's go 51. Is that how you ended up with 51?
I had zero say on what number I was when I came over here. I was just
I love it.
I was just happy it was like I was just happy I had a number. I was
Amen.
pumped up. I was like, oh man, this is awesome. And a little bit better than 67 was my number.
That's an offensive lineman number.
Yeah,
You don't need that.
Left guard.
Yeah.
No, I think I was like, we're in the 50s. This is a good one.
Yeah.
Good.
So you're locked into 51? That's good for now? Good. I mean,
Oh,
you're
at
it. I mean,
this
obviously,
point,
you're an all-star.
Yeah, it's never leaving now.
Yeah,
It's never
I know.
leaving now.
Yeah.
But I just wondered if you ever, when you first got here and you saw 51, you start to get established. That's what usually happens.
Yeah.
Guys change their numbers after about a year, but you decided, no, I'll stick with 51.
I was like, it's too late. My dad had too many jerseys he was ordering jerseys for everybody, so I couldn't change it at that point.
Yeah, and he's going to get 51 saves one of these seasons.
I like that. I like
see?
it. What do you think?
So
that?
we're wrapping up this episode, but getting to that now, getting to the stuff in terms of goals, personal goals. Do you think about that? Do you think about, okay, I want to lock in on this many saves for a year?
I try not to think about like the saves as like a number, because it's and then one, like, it goes back to, it's one of the things that why I think I'm able to have some success is just controlling what you can control. And that's especially over 162 is there's so many things that happen that's out of your control. And if I just do everything in my power to, have conviction on one pitch at a time and just kind of take it instead of, thinking about day to day or out to out. It's one pitch at a time. And as simple as it is, it's way harder to execute on that. But the more you can focus in on just that one day at a time. So it's not so much, the numbers I'm chasing or anything like that. I just want to be able to pitch as many games as I can and, finish the season healthy. And, obviously the more saves that I would be able to get, that means we're probably winning some games. So, and that's the most important part is, being available as much as I can. And then, just coming through whenever, the team has been grinding for 9 innings. So just come in and shut the door and go celebrate.
Can David Bednar and Michael McHenry take a fan onto the field and describe a tight situation, big crowd, swing and a miss, strikeout, save? Everybody and now catcher and pitcher embrace. I mean, what is that feeling like?
I'd love to have that mallet hit me in the chest at the end of the game. He comes in hot. I'd embrace
Grilly
that.
used to do that.
Yeah,
used to
but
pound
it's not the
chest
same.
protector.
Bigger dude, stronger.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking
You'd
a
feel
true.
it. If Bednar did, you'd feel
Yeah,
it.
you're talking about a Paul Bunyan coming at you. So yeah, that for me, there's nothing more special. One of my favorite things to do is to block a ball, make sure he doesn't get out of the box. You tag him, and
Beautiful.
I see the face like and then
Just fired up.
Yeah, but like, what started that for you? Like everybody's got their thing, but you literally pummel the catcher, and I absolutely, I fall in love with it. Every time I see it, I'm like, yes, hit him harder.
Pound them.
Yes.
I think
Gut punch.
Well, it shows the emotion that he has in that game. It's amazing.
Yeah, I think you're just kind of so dialed in. You're kind of call it just like you're just in kind of blackout mode. It's like you're kind of in there, and like I even just think like sometimes after I'm done, I really I have to like rewatch to remember like what specific sequences were.
Awesome. He goes into a psychopath.
Yeah.
It's kind of like just dialed in so much, and then right after you're just so pumped up because like, all right, like let's go, we won, like it's awesome. And you see the catcher, and it's like you just gotta let something out on somebody. So yeah, but no, it's awesome, and it's cool to kind of have that connection with those guys. And we were really fortunate last year to have a good catching group throughout the whole year. Hedges, Delay, Endy, and I didn't get to throw to Henry last year, but I'm looking forward to it. So we had a really good group last year, and that makes that that pitcher catcher connection is really special, and we had some really good ones last year.
Yeah, and Brownie, like when you have a guy like Bednar that he's going to live and die out there,
Yeah.
you're going to do the same thing for him.
Yeah.
Period. And that's what makes guys like him special. He reminds me a lot of Joel Hanrahan. Guy that's going to leave it out on the line, give you everything he has, even if he has nothing, and you know that. So you're going to fight to the death to try to figure out if he has his good stuff. It's an easy day. If he doesn't have his good stuff, how are we going to make this work? Because you're going to fight in the trenches till death for guys like that easily.
Best reaction you've had yet from you ever get like
Robbie Inspikowski, in my opinion.
Yeah.
He's terrified of Bednar.
Yeah.
Terrified. He's like, oh, don't hit me.
It's just a tough spot because they're just coming off like super amped, and I gotta tone it down, try not to say any bad words, and
Yeah, don't tone it down. Just be you. I love it.
but from a catcher's perspective, that's so great. Like I just and you've had a number of catchers that you've dealt with over the years where you've saved or gotten the final out, and it must be just so much fun again to meet there in the middle and job done, accomplished.
without a doubt, because you're both in that together, and the whole team's been grinding the whole game, and to secure it and on to the next one, but able to kind of celebrate it, and that's the first guy you see, and you're always riding and dying with your catcher, and it's a special relationship.
He said he reminds of Hanrahan. What about Matt Capps? Almost from day one, as soon as we saw him pitch, going, that's a young Capps right there.
Yeah, but when you look at the stuff, I think about Hanrahan with the Brunswick. I think a lot of closers have some similarities.
Yeah.
I love the high intensity. You could even mention Jason Grilly.
Yeah.
Melanson, a little bit more professional, professorish, in my opinion. It's just going to slice and dice you, shake your hand, you move on. But those guys are the best.
By the way, I looked it up. It's Stephen Ricard was the first guy you got, or Joey Ricard rather. Joey Ricard, Stephen Voigt, and Brandon Belt was your last.
Okay,
out.
that was the last.
And
Okay.
I have a question.
Balls.
The balls. They go in your glove every game, right? Do they hand them
Yes.
to you?
Yeah.
Do you have them all? You keeping them all?
I've got just about all of them. I try to. I don't really know what I'm going to do. It's
Just make a giant wall. All the
That's a great
saves.
question, man.
Yeah, I feel like I never really thought about it, and I was like, Bones got me the first one, and then just kind of just kept them, and after each one, he's like, I'm like, yeah, sure. So like after a couple, it's like might as well just try and get all of them.
Are you marking them, like the date and stuff?
I mean, whenever they authenticate it, they have
it's like a QR code. You can look it up.
Yeah. So like, and then
authenticated these days.
it's like the bigger ones I'll try and keep, but try and get as many as you can.
Yeah,
See
I
how many
always
you get.
wonder because a lot of guys get them and always wonder what they do with them.
Yeah,
so
there's
I'll be
kinda-
interested to see what you do with it.
They're kind of sitting in a bag somewhere. So I don't know.
Just collecting Lucky Charms.
Yeah,
I love it.
Absolutely.
Well, we can't thank you enough. And would you hold your cutter if you threw a cutter?
I think it would be like I don't even know, something like this.
There you go. All right, hold my cutter.
Yeah.
With David Bednar, 2-time All-Star. Good luck. Have a great year.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you guys.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
Hold my cutter.